my tripod.
A little day of dancing your little Instagram party dancing, which has been fabulous. And I've been dancing around the kitchen pretty much all morning, recording reels and just dancing because I was cooking.
Yeah, for me too. Like I sit there and when I'm working on stuff for clients, because I write content, do some Instagram stuff outside of this, that I'm sitting there and I'm like blasting, not quiet. And thank God I'm the only one home because I blast it and I'm just like at the computer and then I'm like waving around. I'm like, oh well, this is my life now.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done every time because I've got very loud neighbours who piss me off a lot, and I can hear they're like through the wall. So I'm like, right, fucking whack that music up because it's just the only way I can crack on with things without absorbing their horrible energy. I'm like, no, thank you, I don't want that. So you can have a taste of your own medicine, mate. You can listen to some fucking reggaeton or some death metal. Depends on what I fancy.
I've been deep in early 2000s or late 90s. It's been like Alanis Morissette or The Killers and like nothing
in between. I've got like a massive Gwen Stefani fucking like No Doubt and all the way through to Gwen Stefani on her own.
Doubt.
Yeah, recently. So I've gone back to my Grebo grunger roots where I'm just like, oh, let's listen to some fucking No Doubt. And then I went down the hole listening to Hole. Yeah, I mean that was my era.
Yeah, I went down the Sarah McLachlan hole, and then I'm introducing my 7-year-old to all of this, and I'm like, oh my God, her dad's gonna kill me because she's gonna go back to his place and be like, hey, I love all these Lilith bands. And I'm like, yeah.
It's amazing. I think it's awesome being eclectic and having, you know, such a wide variety of you know, of taste in music. Anyway, let's go to
our first tangent. We opened with a tangent today.
Yeah. So we decided to hit record. We were going to do something else, and then we just started talking about witchcraft and how some people are making automatic assumptions, and particularly in the US, I've noticed this, where witchcraft is just automatically placed in the bag with satanic worship and satanic ritual, and also paganism they lump in with that shit as well. And I'll tell you
I'm fairly certain, and I can't, so don't at me guys, because this is pulling out of like knowledge that I studied for world religions class in grade 11. So we're going back like 20 years. But I believe even the Christian concept of the devil, the cloven feet, the big horns, the tail, the red, is a pagan god of fertility. I can't remember the name of which one. My apologies to you who worship and practice. The name escapes me. Probably.
I don't know, because I mean the way that I see paganism and versus like what we would call, you know, Abrahamic religions, is that paganism is to do with the fucking earth. Like I love leaves, and so, like I like the ground, and I like stones, and I like to, you know, work with nature and the universe and shit. That's paganism. Whereas Abrahamic religions, obviously there is like an entity, a one true God, let's say. So it's like, so yeah, but that aside, I mean, it's in the British Isles, obviously, you know, we've got a long fucking history of witchcraft in the British Isles, and and obviously across Europe, but I can only speak from where I am in the world. And there are still things out there. I mean, I know that going on paranormal investigations and stuff, the last one I went to at the Ancient Ram Inn, there is a pagan like ritual burial ground in there, and they found, or what they're assuming to be a pagan ritual burial ground, and they found skeletons of children and all sorts of stuff, saying that, you know, they're like, it's a sacrificial pagan burial ground. I mean, where the fuck they're getting this information from, I do not know. They haven't actually had archaeologists in there like carbon dating and all of that sort of stuff, because they don't want to disturb the remains. So I think
Yeah.
we are doing that now. I think it was the previous owner didn't want it. But when we're in there, there's also like there's you know a witch. There's a room called the witch's room, and then everyone's going on about this like scary evil witch. And I called out and I said, because I'm with my mate who's also a fucking witch in a coven, and I called out and I said, so okay, so to the woman who was accused of witchcraft here, I just want to say, if you are a witch, you're not alone. You've got some sisters with you. And everyone kind of went a bit funny and looked at me. And I was just like, and I looked at my mate Alice, and she was just like, and fucking what? I'll tell you what, like, you know, I've never met more lovely people than witches. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
they are
fucking lovely.
phenomenal. Yeah, they're just such lovely people because, you know, they come from a place of love and it's not evil and satanic. And, you know, when I'm thinking about those children's remains and they're saying, oh, it's paganism, oh, ritual sacrifice. I'm like, were they sacrificing kids? Or did people just fucking die a lot then? Because they didn't have modern medicine, right? You
I
catch
mean,
the flu and you die,
it's
right?
like the earliest record of this place is from like the 1000s. So it was obviously, and that was when records began, right, in the
Yeah.
UK. So it was like, you know, like fucking what it's called the Domesday Book now, but it used to be the
Yep.
you know, the Doomsday Book, which I much prefer. So what was that fucking Oliver Cromwell or whatever went round and said, all right, you've all got to register and whatnot. So that's when it was actually registered as being like a place. So fuck knows how long it was there before that. And it could have gone through, I mean, it's gone through so many different iterations of what it's been. It's been somewhere, there's like it was a religious place. There's like a bishop's room and stuff like that. Plus it's located like opposite a pub. So in the UK, you will always, opposite a pub, opposite a church, you will always have a pub and a church. If they're like literally within a stone's throw from each other, they will have a passage underneath, because
Yep.
when all the whatever it was called, I can't remember off the top of my fucking religious thing where they went round and they painted over all the idols and all of that. I can't remember what it was called. It's not coming to me. That's when they, you know, the priests used to run down and hide. And they could, like, you know, it's their fucking escape route was like straight through. And like the smugglers used it, and the bootleggers and the smugglers back in the day used these like places. So anyway, so there's always strong ties to religion. When you've got old pubs and old churches near each other, they're always like pretty much 98% of the time they will be interlinked. But anyway, yeah, so and it's just the fucking assumption that there's something evil and untoward going on. And
Yeah.
people, and I know this because obviously, you know, I mean, number one, I don't give a fuck if I'm judged for it, because I really don't. The worst I usually get in the UK is people going, that's weird. And I go, it's cool, isn't it? And then they're like, oh, I don't believe in all of that. And then they're like, so tell me, Louise, and they're intrigued. So there's a curiosity around it, but it's not nasty. But I tell you what,
No.
there's nastiness online, and I've had nasty fucking arseholes, and it has all been from the US actually, apart from one, which was my niece's friend who deleted me off of Facebook because he's very Christian, and I put up a meme that was something about I said something about Santa, not Satan, or something like that. It was some sort of fucking meme. And he removed me because he was just like, I can't be doing all her satanic, witchy shit. And it's like, oh, grow up, mate. You know, it was a fucking joke.
Yeah. It's
Um,
bullshit, really. It's bullshit. Yeah, and I think there is a lot of misconception on what witchcraft actually is because it's tapping into the wound, feminine power, sacred rage, all of that stuff, right? Like I know in Massachusetts when we had the Salem trials, it was like one girl, it was like a slave woman, and again, names are escaping me, even though I've read about this stuff because this is how I can remember faces, not names, just deal with it.
yeah.
Who was like a servant, and some girl didn't like what she did, so she's like, oh, she cast a spell on me. Like her sister would turned out she probably had epilepsy, obviously not diagnosed back then, no way of knowing that. And so she was the first, and it was just like this huge religious, women are bad, women are vile, women are evil, they're connected to Satan, our bodies are connected to Satan, we are temptation, And it's like, what the actual fuck? And this is where all of this hatred around witchcraft comes from, when it's really just a beautiful, beautiful way to
Yeah.
practice connecting to yourself, to connect with nature, to honor the earth that provides for us, provides shelter, provides food, provides healing, provides water.
Yeah. And I mean, here it was always the women who were labelled witches in the UK were the women who were invariably single, maybe had a couple of pets, and they were healers. They were women who you would go to if you know wanted, if you were injured and things like that. Men went to them as well as women, but more often than not as well, they were women who used to help with unwanted pregnancies and things like that. So the church don't fucking like that shit either, because women helping women. And obviously there was an exchange. These women weren't doing this shit for free. This was their business. This was their livelihood. So they would go out and they would collect the herbs. They would treat people. They would make sure, they would give people rituals to do. But these rituals were all part of the helping, curing whatever it was that the ailment was. And they were really, really knowledgeable about the land and really knowledgeable about the human body and, you know, and all of these different things, which were, of course, seen as like fucking mysterious. But it was a lot easier for the patriarchy to just point a fucking finger. And then you've got old fucking, what's his cunt in face, the Witchfinder General. He was a bastard arsehole as well. And he just bullshitted his way around.
Oh, yeah. He just
You know.
appointed himself and wrote that book.
Yeah,
Why can't I? It's the day today. I can't remember anything.
I can't remember his name. Mark, I want to say Matthew, Luke. And
you know what? We'll put it in the show
notes
afterwards.
I know his name. I know his name.
My favorite
Matthew
from that, something like that. My favorite from that is a passage that talks about women carrying around a basket of penises. If you are a woman with a basket of penises, you're a fucking witch. And I'm sitting and I died laughing. I'm like, who fucking carries around a basket of dicks?
Well, no, the other one was they were saying that the witches would, the man's dick would just fly off of its own accord. Oh my God. I wish I had that power.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a dickus? Oh, yes.
I'd be like, and yours is gone, and yours is gone, and yours is gone.
It would be like Wingardium Leviosa.
I'd be like, enough of this shit.
Bye-bye, dick. Yeah, I love it. But
it's a whole new meaning to sack of dicks.
It does. It really does. Fucking let your dick fly off and fly in your mate's face. He's a prick as well. I think the other thing, it really does have the, you know, when we think, if you think back to, so if you think where the fucking patriarchy really truly started, which is with Abrahamic religions, then, you know, the Christian thing versus the witchcraft thing and all of that. And the shit that we get nowadays is really due to the hangover of, you know, the pervasive mythology. Plus, don't forget, if you look at the, you know, the stereotype of what a witch looks like, you know, with the nose and the pointy hat and everything, that's the most anti-Semitic shit ever. That's where it all comes from. It comes from that, you know.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
You know? That's why I won't dress up as a, you know, a fucking green witch with a big nose and all of that stuff. Because actually, it's like, it's really, really fucking racist. Do you know what I mean? Like, no way. I mean, I have got a lovely pointy hat and I will wear that and I'll stand by it. And a broomstick and all of the garble. I'm garbling. It's just that dick. It's just like...
It's all the flying dicks.
All the flying dicks are really distracting me. There's just like flying dicks. They're going past my window. I can't keep my focus. You know, it's been a while, girls. It's been a while.
I know we're talking about how anti-Semitic the green witch with the nose and the hat is, but all I can see is the Wizard of Oz. The witch on her broom,
flying a dick, flying on a dick broom,
flying dicks instead of flying monkeys.
Yes.
Is there really any difference though?
Fly, my pretties.
Oh boy, people are gonna hate us photos for this episode.
I need to draw this. Like, we need to design an image. You know, like the typical, like I've got, oh, it's not there, you can't see it, with the, you know, the moon and the witch on their broomstick. But like, just a witch on a massive song.
You know what? Anybody out there, this is a call to anybody out there who watches this episode, who is an artist. If you can do that, witch, the dick, is that what we're doing? Witch on a dick?
On a giant dick.
With the moon?
Yeah, with the moon.
We will feature.
Oh, I need this in my life. If I tell you what, I think we should run a competition, and whoever creates the best witch on a broomstick flying across a moon will win something. I don't know what, but we'll put together a fucking prize, because I need to see this shit in my life. I think this is the best thing I've ever heard of. Flying my pretties. I just could see her. It's just fucking dicks flying everywhere.
People are gonna be here like I came here for like the spiritual opinions, and they're talking about witch dick.
This is why the Christians don't like us.
No. But that's the other point I was gonna make, is it wasn't just the healers, it wasn't just the women out there who were trying to do good, put good in the world, have businesses, be independent. That was another thing, be independent. There were also like the rebels, right? Like you said, they were the ones that were performing things like abortions, helping to take care of unwanted pregnancies. They were the women who would speak out, who would stand up, who would say, push back against unfairness.
Yeah.
These women were the rebels of society as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of it as well was the fact that because of their knowledge of certain things, they would do certain things. So like, particularly again, like with herbs and stuff. I mean, you look in my garden, I've got lavender, and I've got rosemary, sage, thyme. You know, I've got the British classics, let's say. But there's a reason that I've got them outside my front door. And yeah, and I do hang them in bunches. And you know why? Because it keeps the fucking wasps away. So I love that my neighbours, whenever I see them looking out, and whenever I go and cut herbs, I know they're thinking, is she cooking or doing some sort of fucking ritual? What is it going to be today, you know? And I'm like, full moon, snip, snip, snip herbs, you know? Mind your dicks. And yeah, they're all a little bit concerned. But I'm a friendly local neighbourhood witch. Do you know what I mean? People know that. It's on my fucking Google business. I haven't got about my, like, the coaching side of my business. It's all like, you know, I'm your fucking friendly local witch is on Google. So, you know, if anybody who knows me, they fucking Google, there I am. I don't hide it.
And I'm the same now, because of my current living situation and living with roommates and stuff. I don't have that yet, but I always work my magic through my cards, right? I would consider myself like, you know, cartomancy as it were. And that's where I work my intentions, is through all my lovely tarot cards. And I put energy and intention and thought when I'm pulling them, when I'm working with them, when I'm trying to divine what is happening. But it's a very intentional process that I do in order, like, when I lay them out, it's very intentional. The spread is very intentional. The cards I choose to represent certain things are very intentional. And that's really what witchcraft is. It's using these tools, herbs, candles, water, cards, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's all intention. It's all intention. And when you hear about people talking about manifestation, I mean, bitch, witch has been doing this for fucking centuries. We're just calling it something different nowadays, are we?
Yeah.
You know, so it's all about intention and then ritualizing that intention. And I think there are people out there that want to gatekeep this stuff, and it's not. I fucking hate it when people say, a bit like your post you did about, oh, you're, you know, not being a real tarot reader, or like, oh, you're not a real witch and stuff like this. And you just, I mean, personally, it's people that have, you know, going back to our spiritual bypassing episode, people that have gone, you know, and decided I'm above you. You know, you're fucking not. You ain't got. Anyone who tries to put you down for this stuff is themselves just inadequate and fucking bullshit, because they're not, you know, actually this stuff is all embracing, all welcoming. And the main thing that people say is, do things how you see fit with your intuition. As long as your intention is imbuing what you're doing, then you can perform, because it's a personal practice. You don't all have to dance around naked in the fucking moonlight. I might like to, but you don't have to. Some people like to speak their words and their spells out loud. I do. If I'm cast in a circle, and I like to scum away. I like fucking speaking, don't I? So I like to speak the.
That's why we're here.
Right. And it's like, I feel that when it comes from within me and I release it, I feel that there's more power in that for myself. That doesn't mean that sometimes I don't speak to my fucking ancestors, it with my intention as opposed to my out loud voice. Do you know what I mean? It's just everything comes from within. And when I'm cooking, like I always say this one, when I'm cooking, I'm imbuing my food with intention. I'm practicing gratitude. I'm saying thank you, thank you for nourishing me, and sustaining me. And I'm always, every single thing that I fucking do is pretty much, not everything, I mean, having a shit isn't, but like, pretty much everything I do.
You could ritualize that.
I could, but I don't tend to. I tend to play a little game on my phone instead, because got to have some
levity.
Like, yeah, I'm playing like Match King or whatever it's called. But like, yeah, having a shower, that's a cleansing ritual. Do you know what I mean? There's all sorts of fucking shit that I do, but it all boils down to your intention, and you don't have to do it all the time. You don't have, if you are somebody who, I mean, you've only got to fucking look at the church as well. I mean, what are they doing? Singing hymns, saying prayers out loud en masse, lighting candles and fucking incense, doing like fucking ritualistic ceremonies and all of this sort of stuff. That's witchcraft, bitch. What you doing? Praying? That's fucking spell casting. What you doing?
Yeah. well, and like me over here, like, well, like I said, I may not have right now the ability to plant and whatnot, but I forage. I find like little leaves that I think that are pretty, pine cones, whatever, stones. I go to the beach. I can't come back with beach rock. And then I have a specific set of quartz, and I always replace them. And because nature and storms happen, but I build fairy circles in the backyard, and I will place those things that I forge into the fairy circle with a very specific intention of thank you for doing this for me. Thank you for showing me this beauty in the world. Thank you for bringing this to me, right? Like if it is something like maybe I find a rock, then it may be like something thank you for beauty. If it's something that is a plant, then it may be thank you for the nourishment that Mother Earth has provided me. And it's all with intention and gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many people are going to kill me for working with fairies?
Yeah, well, they're, you little fuckers, you fae folk, I tell you. Got me turned around so many bloody times when I go to the woods, tricksy little fuckers. And it's like, it's all very like, oh, ha ha, but now I don't know where I am. And I've got no fucking like maps in the woods, have I? So, and how the hell I've come off the trail when I've been to the same woods 100 times in my life, and I find myself on a bridle path and I'm like, how the fuck am I here? And I'd seen a woman in white wandering around hiding behind trees, and I was thinking, and I was with my friend Bridge actually, and I was like, would you see that? And she was like, yeah. And then we had a fucking crow following us for ages as well, and she's really in touch with Morrigan and stuff, so she's like, she knew that was, the crow's there for her type thing. This fucking woman peeping behind the trees, and I'm just like, is she following us or is she leading us off the, because I don't know where we are now, mate, and we were laughing, but equally I was genuinely concerned. I was like, I don't know the civilization at this moment in time.
Yeah.
How the fuck? And she said,
I don't know why.
She said, what you got to do is you got to turn your clothes inside out. So I didn't know. So if you want the fae folk, you fuckers, to stop mucking about, then you got to turn your clothes inside out. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I've got a bit of not a love-hate relationship, but like I kind of like, a bit like my cat, Evie. I'm like, I love you so much. You're amazing, but you really piss me off.
Yeah, that's how, I don't know why me, and I don't know why, but since I started working with them, like different things have been coming out more, like my readings have gotten better, more powerful, more in tune. So I don't know what, you know
what it is partly what you're going through right now. And how you're coming through this is in fun and in playfulness, and you are very, very naturally mischievous, and that is where the connection is. It's this little,
I'm a little agent of chaos over here.
Yeah, you're naughty, right? And it's like it's good chaos. It's not nasty, but it's quite irritating. Like, it's a bit annoying. Like you would fuck about and put something I put something down and then I come back and it's not there anymore. And I'm not patient. I'm like, this is not funny. I need to do things. Whereas you would be like, oh, come on, you fuckers. And you find that stuff like really endearing and amusing. And I love that about you.
And I also do it to my kids.
See, I'm just not built that way. I've never been one. I've always, no, it's not my thing. I've got like a really serious streak, and I know where I've been connected to certain, well, all of my connections are in the underworld. So obviously it's like, I'm gonna always see being in this realm as just a job that I've got to get done.
Yep.
I'm trying not to see it that way, but I'm constantly reminded of, I've just got to stick this out. I've just got to stay the course. You won't have to come back another time, Louise. This is your last time now. So just see it through, woman, see it through. And then you can go back to your job downstairs. And that is, much better for me. I'm like the cave dweller. I'm the one who wants to be in the darkness, with like the body of water. That's where every time I visit, like when I go Akashic Records or when I visit certain places, I end up going down a really weird little stone staircase that is really hidden and covered and no one else knows is there. And I go into this lovely cave and it's cool. It's not cold, but it's cool and it's very dark. And there's a fucking lovely stream. And I know it's the Styx. I fucking know what it is. I know where I am. And it's my safe place and I love it down there. And I'm
see?
Oh, thank you very much.
Mine's the exact opposite. It's like I get in there and it's like tall grass, sunny day, mountains in the background, forest off to the side, and there's like a pool that's maybe about 10 feet and perfect circle around, and it's like a seeing pool. Or that's where I will, if I go into the pool, it looks like water, it's not water, and that's where I can also really connect with my girl Isis. So
yeah, see, my girl's Maya, so and my boy's Anubis, so I'm kind of like I'm over here. I've
got Isis and the Fae, and then Kali has come to me once when I was doing something real fucking powerful, and I was like, "Holy God, fucking shit, Kali is here!" And I was like,
"Oh, Kali's my girl too, man! Like, absolutely, we can high five on that one." But it's so funny. I mean, I just think the affinity that we have with different archetypes and different elementals is really, really fascinating. And I would say to anybody who feels an affinity with a place or a type of, even if it's like a magical creature, or a fictional creature, I don't know, a fucking ent, or like whatever it may be, there's a reason for that affinity. And I would say explore that and go and communicate. Like if you have if you've got like ents, that's where it's at, go and fucking get tree hugging, girl, because that's exactly where you're meant to be. There's a reason that we are drawn to these particular elements, archetypes and elementals, and it's because who we are on our on our soul level, and what our spirit, and we're guided by this stuff, absolutely guided by this stuff, because as you say, once you make that connection and you start to communicate with that whatever it may be, it starts to influence, like positively influence what you're doing, your mood, your day-to-day, your work, your career, your business, your friendships, your relationships, absolutely everything. It all starts to come together. And I find it, really, really, really fucking fascinating. And I know that this is why here on this, on Earth, in this realm, why I am absolutely obsessed with the sea and the sky, big sea, big sky, because it is literally what I need while I'm here, because where I usually inhabit is a little bit, is different. So in order for me to
I'm going to make another comment on that.
Yeah.
Aquarius, air.
Well, yeah, of course.
Water bar. Because
that's why I've come here as a fucking Aquarius. Do you know what I mean? But it's, and I know and I understand that the affinity that I have with these things, because it's my support here. It's my support while I'm here. It's what I need to receive while I'm here, and it's what I need to give while I'm here, and it's that love and that connection. I'm not going to go and hide in caves, because it's just going to lure me back to where I know I want to be. So, because there's that part of me, but then there's also, I'm going to aliens, but
I can say the same with me, like my obsession with stories and storytelling, and knowing that in here I'm a storyteller. I don't necessarily have to be an author. People have told me I will write a book, and I'm sure I will one day, because words. But stories have power, and that is so important to me. And like all the stories that I am connected to have to do with fucking fairies and shit like that, and Middle Earth energy. And Lord of the Rings has been a through line. It's how I survived some of the worst parts of my life. And so now that I'm like in this, and I can see me working with fairies, and then I look back at my childhood and see that draw there, I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah. I see you as like, not necessarily an author, but like a traveling minstrel. I see you as somebody who goes from town to town, regaling the stories that have been passed down to you.
I'm a bard. Hi, I'm a bard.
Like a wandering bard, and then other people commit them to and that's how that's how stories evolve, isn't it? That's what used to happen. And I love that. I can picture you like doing that. I can see you do. I can see it very fucking clear.
Which is funny, because you're seeing that clearly, and in my head all I can see is Monty Python on the Holy Grail, and bravely brave Sir Robin ran away.
No, I'm thinking like, no, do you know that my first thought was fucking Paul Bettany in A Knight's Tale when he's Chaucer.
That is literally my favorite Paul Bettany role. And that's my favorite character in that movie. And when I saw that, I was like, I was attracted to him, but not in the, ooh, you're sexy way, although he is very good looking. It was the, I want to be that.
Yeah. I know. I don't know why, but yeah, in that film, I mean, he's definitely my favorite character in that film as well. I mean, I love, he's a national fucking treasure.
We have got so witchcraft.
Now we're like talking about fantasy and Paul Bettany.
Ooh, let's talk about that's an episode for another.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do an episode.
Flying dicks, right? Correct, flying dicks.
God, we really have got round the houses on this one, haven't we?
Yes. That might be a good time to end this one. I'm not sure, maybe.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Paul Bettany. Very, very fanciable. Definitely would. Even if it flew off.
Shout out to us for being off our rockers. Shout out to the Fae.
Shout out to all my fucking Satanists out there. Shout out to the witches. Shout out to the crew. And you know what? Shout out to the Abrahamic religions as well. If you are somebody who is, in that world and you're not an arsehole, you're fucking welcome.
And you know what? Let us know down below if you want merch with Cauldron Crew, because maybe we can make that happen.
Oh yeah, with a flying dick. I'm obsessed.
I just see, like, this is my pretty mug with all the stars on it. See?
Flying dick. Yeah.
And it's just like a cauldron with a flying dick on it.
I think we should, we are going to doing merch for hen parties where there's like witchy hen parties. So the big inflatable penises that they usually take around, just wax some wings on that, man. And then we've got we are
going so far off tangent.
That's a money maker, people. Somebody can have
we've gone so far off tangent that we are in another dimension right now.
Well, we knew that was going to happen, didn't we, when we named the fucking podcast? All right then, well, we'll say goodbye. Follow us, like, share, subscribe, and all of that juicy shit.
Let us know what you want us to wax lyrical about down below.
And we'll put our links in the description, and we may well follow you back if you're a very, very interesting person like us. All right, good day. God bless. Mwah, 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 mwah. Ta-ta.